In a stunning revelation, Princess Diana's son finally uncovers the truth behind rumors that have plagued the royal family for years. After decades of whispers, he openly acknowledges what the world has suspected all along. This shocking admission breaks the silence surrounding his mother's hidden history and sends ripples of surprise across the globe as new details surface in 2025. Hearts race and eyes widen in astonishment at what could be so monumental that it alters everything we thought we knew. Diana's relationship and marriage to Prince Charles began when she first met him in 1977 while he was dating her older sister, Sarah. However, it wasn't until 1980 that a spark truly ignited between them. At just 19, Diana was taken aback by the unexpected attention from Charles, who was 32 and under pressure to find a suitable bride. Their courtship was famously short, consisting of only about a dozen meetings over a few months. Looking back, this whirlwind romance seemed to foreshadow the challenges that would follow. Despite the turbulence that lay ahead, the announcement of the engagement on February 24, 1981, captured the public's imagination. Diana quickly became a media sensation, with every step she took being closely watched by reporters and photographers. Meanwhile, Charles struggled to conceal his lingering feelings for Camilla Parker Bowles, a former girlfriend who remained a close friend. Trouble began to surface when Diana discovered an engraved bracelet that Charles had bought for Camilla just before their lavish wedding on July 29, 1981. The world watched in awe as Diana arrived at St. Paul's Cathedral in a glass coach, wearing a billowing silk gown with a record-breaking 25-foot train. The ceremony was broadcast to millions, many captivated by the seemingly fairy tale romance. Even minor slips, like Diana mixing up Charles's names during their vows, only added to the day's charm. Yet, beneath the glamour, tension was building. Camilla's presence continued to cast a shadow, and Diana couldn't shake her fears about Charles's loyalty. Their honeymoon, which included a Mediterranean cruise aboard the royal yacht Britannia, was supposed to be a dream, but even that couldn't mask the growing uncertainty. Even amidst the romantic surroundings of their honeymoon, Diana uncovered photographs of Camilla and items belonging to Charles, which only deepened her suspicions. The pressures of royal life began to take a toll on her, and by the time they settled into their married routine, Diana's struggles with bulimia and loneliness had already taken root. Though they were publicly seen as a fairy tale couple, Charles and Diana often led separate lives, weighed down by the constant presence of the paparazzi and an emotional distance between them. Charles, while appearing dutiful, often seemed distant, while Diana grappled with feelings of isolation within the palace walls. Despite this, she channeled her energy into charity work, earning her the title of the People's Princess. Over time, the cracks in their marriage became more apparent. Diana's quiet heartbreak and Charles's ongoing connection with Camilla set the stage for scandal, separation, and their eventual divorce in 1996. Looking back, their iconic wedding remains a landmark of spectacle and grandeur, even as it marked the beginning of one of the most scrutinized and troubled royal marriages in modern history. From the outside, Princess Diana's life seemed like a fairy tale. Married to a prince, enjoying global fame, and surrounded by unmatched glamour. However, beneath the surface, she was a woman struggling with emotional turmoil. Early in her marriage, Diana faced severe bulimia, a hidden condition brought on by loneliness and the pressure to maintain a flawless public image. Whenever she sought support, she often felt overshadowed by royal protocols. The fear of judgment and relentless media scrutiny forced her to deal with her eating disorder in private, which only intensified her feelings of isolation. After giving birth to Prince William in 1982, Diana faced unexpected postpartum depression. She felt empty and uncertain, yet received little sympathy from the royal circle, who often viewed mental health issues as personal weaknesses. This lack of understanding only deepened her despair, making her bulimia worse as food became the only area in her life where she felt she had control. At times, Diana's cries for help took the form of self-harm, as she felt ignored and trapped in a cycle where her emotional pain was continuously overlooked. As her struggles deepened, interpersonal conflicts only worsened her situation. Feeling unsupported by Prince Charles, Diana's sense of worthlessness grew as her attempts to seek emotional connection went unanswered. She fell deeper into despair, and tensions escalated during incidents like the time she threw herself down the stairs while pregnant, hoping someone would finally recognize her pain. Instead, she faced criticism and dismissal. This environment of neglect fueled cycles of depression, with Diana silently crying out for empathy in a household that valued decorum over genuine concern. Desperate for stability, Diana reached out to mental health professionals and trusted friends. However, the relentless tabloids heightened her anxiety, amplifying every misstep and rumor. While she put on a bright smile at public events, behind closed doors, she struggled with self-doubt. Despite being advised to seek medication, Diana believed that true healing would come from understanding, not pills, and chose to pursue that path instead. She frequently faced her struggles alone, finding brief moments of comfort in the support of close friends and trusted staff who recognized her private suffering. Ironically, Diana's deep empathy served as both a sanctuary and a burden. Her dedication to charitable work provided a delicate escape from the pressures of royal life. By speaking candidly in interviews about her battles, including her eating disorder and emotional distress, she challenged societal taboos surrounding mental health. In doing so, she unintentionally brought family tensions into the public eye, yet her openness resonated with millions who saw their own struggles reflected in her vulnerability. Though her life was tragically cut short, Diana's courage in addressing her pain remains a powerful symbol of resilience in the face of relentless scrutiny. Confrontations and revelations behind the royal facade beneath the fairy tale image of Diana and Charles's marriage. A series of conflicts and revelations exposed the fractures in their relationship, reshaping public perception of the couple. One of the most significant moments came in 1989 when Diana found the strength to directly confront Camilla Parker Bowles. A moment of confrontation. At a birthday party, fully aware that Charles and Camilla had never truly severed ties, Diana seized a rare opportunity to confront Camilla in private. Finding her alone, she directly stated that she knew everything. Though the conversation left her emotionally shaken, Diana later described it as one of the bravest moments of her life, a turning point in her determination to assert her own voice. Her suspicions were further confirmed by unsettling discoveries. Before their wedding, she learned that Charles had gifted Camilla a bracelet engraved with the initials GF, short for Girl Friday. She also uncovered that just days before their vows, Charles had arranged a private farewell lunch with Camilla. These troubling revelations convinced Diana that her marriage was compromised from the very start. Feeling betrayed and isolated, she turned inward, struggling with bulimia and deteriorating mental health while receiving little genuine emotional support. As the early 1990s unfolded, the global spotlight on her intensified, especially with the release of Andrew Morton's explosive biography, Diana, Her True Story, which painted a raw and revealing portrait of her life behind palace walls. A princess trapped in a broken marriage, Diana felt imprisoned in an unfulfilling marriage, shattering the illusion of a perfect fairy tale. The situation became even more scandalous when compromising tapes surfaced. Squidgygate exposed an intimate phone call between Diana and a friend, while Camillagate was far more explosive, featuring explicit recordings of Charles and Camilla discussing their deep affection. These revelations fueled a relentless media storm, exposing private truths the royal family had worked tirelessly to conceal. Yet Diana refused to stay silent. In 1995, she granted a now infamous television interview to Martin Bashir, delivering the unforgettable line, "There were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded." Her words sent shockwaves around the world, marking her determination to reclaim her narrative and forcing the monarchy to publicly confront the crisis. Shortly after, at the Queen's urging, Charles and Diana agreed to divorce. These revelations, secret meetings, intimate gifts, and brutally honest interviews, laid bare the fragile foundation of their marriage, forever altering the public's perception of the royal couple. Diana's unwavering truth and maternal devotion, Diana's determination to speak her truth only grew stronger, even as the fallout from her revelations was painful. Yet, in embracing transparency, she deepened the world's empathy for her, evolving from an idealized princess into a fully realized, courageous woman. A hands-on mother. Defying tradition from the moment she became a mother, Princess Diana rejected royal formality in favor of a hands-on approach. She was committed to giving her sons, William and Harry, a taste of normal life, taking them to amusement parks, squeezing into cars for McDonald's runs, and personally tucking them in at night. While palace insiders often disapproved of her informal parenting style, Diana firmly believed that shielding her children from everyday experiences would only create distance between them and the people they were destined to serve. Breaking rigid traditions, she involved William in her charitable work from an early age, bringing him along to hospitals and homeless shelters. Despite her personal struggles with bulimia and postpartum depression, she radiated warmth and was determined to instill in her sons a deep sense of compassion. William, in particular, absorbed these lessons, carrying forward her legacy of kindness and service. A legacy of empathy and motherly devotion. Harry witnessed his mother's compassion firsthand, watching as she embraced AIDS patients without hesitation, held the hands of lepers, and treated every person she met with kindness and dignity. These moments of love and care reinforced the values she sought to instill in her sons: humility, empathy, and the courage to stand up for the less fortunate. Diana's maternal instincts extended far beyond the palace walls. She volunteered at children's centers, reading stories and organizing activities, determined to use her platform for good. Despite relentless paparazzi intrusion into her life, she refused to let their presence dictate how she raised William and Harry. She helped with their homework, encouraged laughter over family meals, and danced with them in the living room, ensuring their childhood was filled with real, unscripted moments of joy, free from the constraints of royal formality. Even as her marriage to Prince Charles crumbled, Diana remained steadfast in her devotion as a mother. She worked tirelessly to shield her sons from the heartbreak of public scandals, teaching them resilience and the importance of staying true to themselves amidst the chaos surrounding their family. Navigating public life without losing herself. After her separation from Charles, Diana quickly adapted to single motherhood, ensuring that her time with William and Harry remained sacred. Despite their demanding schedule of official engagements, she always made space for private moments to express her love and support. Tragically, her life and time with her children were cut short. However, the maternal influence she left behind profoundly shaped the future of the British monarchy. Her sons have carried forward her legacy, championing causes close to her heart, such as mental health awareness, children's welfare, and humanitarian efforts. Through their work, they continue to honor the mother who taught them that motherhood is rooted in love and flourishes through empathy and courage. Media scrutiny and scandals. From the moment Diana's relationship with Prince Charles became public, the media swarmed like a tidal wave, eager to capture every chapter of their royal romance. At first, photographers vied for glimpses of Diana's fairy tale beginnings, but as whispers of marital discord emerged, the narrative quickly shifted. The relentless pursuit of scandal. The press only intensified its relentless pursuit of front-page drama. Every missed glance, awkward interview, or unguarded moment became fodder for tabloid headlines, shaping Diana's public image in ways she could not control. One of the earliest scandals erupted from a series of leaked phone conversations, collectively known as Squidgygate for Diana and Camillagate for Charles. These recordings exposed Diana's emotional struggles and Charles's intimate conversations with Camilla Parker Bowles. In an instant, the princess's heartbreak and the prince's divided affections were thrust into the global spotlight. Newspapers feasted on the scandalous revelations, tearing apart the carefully maintained fairy tale the palace had long sought to uphold. As Diana's marriage to Charles fell apart, the paparazzi's obsession with her escalated. She became, in many ways, the most hunted woman in Britain. Secretly snapped photos of her alone on a yacht or visibly distressed over her marital woes flooded magazine covers. Once a shy kindergarten teacher, she was now the most scrutinized figure in the world. A life under the microscope, Diana found herself thrust onto a global stage, where every expression, gesture, and emotion was scrutinized and speculated upon. Even her charitable visits, intended to raise awareness for social causes, were often overshadowed by headlines focusing on her weight, fashion choices, or rumored romances. The infamous BBC Panorama interview with journalist Martin Bashir, in which Diana famously stated, "There were 3 of us in this marriage," only added, fuel to the media frenzy. That single quote dominated news cycles, giving the press even more justification to dissect every detail of her life. While critics condemned the relentless intrusion, the public eagerly consumed each sensational revelation. Television specials and tabloid exclusives painted her alternately as a victim, a heroine, or a manipulative figure, depending on who was telling the story. Diana's tragic death in 1997 was the devastating climax of the media obsession that had followed her since the early 1980s. In the weeks leading up to the accident, paparazzi chases had become increasingly reckless. Witnesses later recalled that photographers were in pursuit of her car on the fateful night, underscoring the dangerous extremes of the press's relentless pursuit. A tragic end and lingering blame. Though official investigations concluded that the fatal crash was caused by a combination of high speed and driver impairment, many continue to hold the paparazzi responsible for relentlessly chasing Diana's car that night. Even today, Princes William and Harry openly condemn the invasive media scrutiny that surrounded their mother, emphasizing how scandal-driven headlines often obscured the true essence of who she was. Divorce and its aftermath. By 1996, Diana and Charles's divorce had become both inevitable and deeply complex. Years of public scrutiny, private heartbreak, and relentless media attention had taken their toll. Their official separation in 1992 had done little to ease tensions, and by late 1995, even Queen Elizabeth II urged them to formally dissolve their marriage. Once believing in a fairy tale romance, Diana instead found herself grappling with the emotional weight of infidelity, media intrusion, and the constraints of royal life. The divorce negotiations were fraught with difficulty, centering on financial settlements, custody arrangements for Princes William and Harry, and Diana's official status within the royal family. Life beyond the crown, though Charles initially resisted some of Diana's requests, overwhelming media interest and her enduring popularity gave her significant leverage in the divorce negotiations. However, she was ultimately stripped of her title, Her Royal Highness, a decision that deeply hurt her. Yet, despite the formalities of palace protocol, the public continued to see her as their people's princess, a love that no legal ruling could diminish. Following the finalization of her divorce, Diana was determined to redefine herself beyond her past as Charles's wife and a member of the monarchy. She expanded her philanthropic work, passionately advocating for causes such as the global ban on landmines and AIDS awareness. No longer bound by royal constraints, she embraced a more direct and personal approach to charity, visiting hospitals, homeless shelters, and struggling communities with genuine compassion, further solidifying her global influence. However, despite her newfound freedom, she remained a prime target for the paparazzi. The relentless media intrusion continued, casting a shadow over her efforts to build a life on her own terms. The spotlight on Diana's personal life, once the media's focus, was on her crumbling marriage. It soon shifted to her personal life, particularly her romances. Speculation about her whirlwind relationship with Dodi Fayed dominated the headlines. Diana became both a global icon and a vulnerable figure, trapped in an unforgiving spotlight that magnified every one of her struggles from the very beginning. Meanwhile, Princes William and Harry stood by their mother, shocked at the events unfolding under the media's harsh scrutiny. Though they divided their time between their parents, both princes spoke often of Diana's steadfast devotion to them, recalling her down-to-earth parenting and her determined efforts to shield them from the chaos around them. It was clear that her divorce from Charles had little impact on their bond. If anything, it only strengthened their connection. Tragically, the world would never see Diana fully embrace her fresh start. Her death in August 1997 cut short a life that was on the verge of reinvention. Yet, her legacy endures, shaped by both the challenges and triumphs of her turbulent divorce and the lasting impact of her compassion and courage. Aftermath of Diana's death and ongoing conspiracy. Theories: Princess Diana's tragic death on August 31, 1997, remains clouded with uncertainty, sparking numerous conspiracy theories that continue to captivate public imagination. On that fateful night, Diana and her companion, Dodi Fayed, attempted to evade the paparazzi by leaving the Ritz Hotel in Paris in a decoy car, with Henri Paul at the wheel. Moments later, their Mercedes crashed in the Pont de l'Alma tunnel, resulting in the deaths of Diana, Dodi, and Henri Paul, while bodyguard Trevor Rees-Jones survived, albeit with serious injuries. While official investigations attributed the crash to driver impairment and aggressive paparazzi, many people refused to accept this explanation, instead believing there was more to the story. Among the most vocal skeptics was Dodi's father, Mohammed Al-Fayed, who spent nearly a decade asserting that Diana and his son were murdered. He speculated that British intelligence, MI6, might have targeted them, possibly acting on orders from high-ranking members of the royal establishment. Although Al-Fayed eventually ceased his public campaign, the conspiracy theories surrounding Diana's death continue to stir debate and intrigue. The lingering mysteries and conspiracy theories. Though Mohammed Al-Fayed never formally recanted his belief that Diana's death was no accident, his claims continued to fuel ongoing conspiracy theories. Another key piece of the puzzle for many skeptics was a handwritten note from Diana herself, which she gave to her butler, Paul Burrell. In this letter, she expressed concerns that the royal family might be planning an accident involving her, mentioning a potential brake failure that could result in a serious head injury. While the royal family has consistently denied any involvement in foul play, the chilling nature of Diana's note only deepened suspicions among those who believed she felt genuinely threatened. Adding to the intrigue was the mysterious white Fiat Uno that some witnesses claimed had collided with Diana's Mercedes before the crash. Despite thorough investigations and the search of thousands of white Fiat Unos across France, the car and its driver were never identified. Speculation grew, with rumors suggesting the car belonged to French photojournalist Jean-Paul James Anderson, who died under mysterious circumstances in 2000. While the British inquiry into Diana's death, Operation Paget, ultimately concluded the crash was a tragic accident, many questions and theories continue to linger. The missing Fiat and the enduring debate. While it was concluded that Jean-Paul Anderson's vehicle could not have been involved in the crash, the mystery of the missing Fiat Uno continues to captivate conspiracy theorists. Operation Paget, the British inquiry into Diana's death, interviewed more than 300 witnesses and published a report in 2006 that reaffirmed the earlier French investigation. It concluded that the crash was the result of a combination of speed, driver impairment, and the pursuing paparazzi. However, for many around the world, Diana's death remains shrouded in suspicion, with no official explanation fully quelling doubts. Whether one accepts the official findings or believes in the possibility of darker forces at work to silence the people's princess, her untimely death continues to provoke debate. This enduring mystery only adds to her lasting mystique. Diana's enduring legacy, Princess. Diana's influence remains profound, far beyond the tragic end she met in 1997. Her legacy continues to unfold through the compassion she championed, the openness she brought to royal life, and the far-reaching impact she had on her sons. From a young age, Diana displayed a remarkable ability to connect with people, a deep empathy that later defined countless charitable initiatives and touched the hearts of people across the globe. Diana's enduring impact, whether holding hands with an AIDS patient or comforting the homeless, Diana challenged long-standing assumptions and urged the world to recognize its shared humanity. Her decision to raise Princes William and Harry as normal children, taking them to fast food restaurants, amusement parks, and volunteer sites, broke down the barriers of royal detachment, exposing them to everyday activities. In doing so, she taught them that, despite the monarchy's grandiosity, it should remain relatable to the people. As a result, both princes inherited a remarkable sense of service, often reflecting Diana's humanitarian spirit in their own charitable endeavors, including mental health advocacy, children's welfare, and support for military families. Diana's openness about her personal struggles also created a lasting legacy. Her battles with bulimia, postpartum depression, and the emotional toll of her troubled marriage sparked broader conversations about mental health, during a time when such topics were still largely taboo. Diana demonstrated that vulnerability could be a source of strength and inspiration for others. As a source of inspiration, she encouraged countless individuals facing similar struggles to seek help, while also reminding public figures that honesty can foster both understanding and forgiveness. Despite the overwhelming public grief that followed her passing, conspiracy theories emerged, raising doubts about the circumstances of the tragic car crash in Paris. Yet, these controversies only solidified Diana's historical significance, fueling documentaries, investigations, and debates that continue to keep her memory alive. The fact that her death remains a subject of global intrigue highlights the lasting cultural impact she made. people still seek to understand her experiences, connect with her struggles, and preserve her legacy from being overshadowed by skepticism. Diana's humanitarian efforts and personal openness continue to shape discussions about the modern monarchy. Both William and Harry have cited their mother's influence, from advocating for mental health awareness to questioning rigid protocols that may suppress individual expression. Although Harry has stepped away from royal duties, while William has taken on an even greater role within the monarchy, both brothers remain committed to honoring Diana's legacy. They prioritize emotional well-being, public service, and empathy in their personal lives and professional efforts. In many ways, Diana served as a bridge between centuries of rigid royal traditions and the monarchy's gradual shift toward a more open and human-centered approach. Years after her passing, floral tributes still amass on the anniversaries of her birth and death, and charitable organizations connected to her continue to thrive. Diana's story is more than that of a glamorous princess whose life ended in tragedy. She was a woman who embodied compassion, reshaped global perspectives on mental health, and permanently influenced how the monarchy engages with the public. Even decades later, her enduring impact is evident each time her sons champion a cause she was passionate about. The British royal family has always been a subject of intense public fascination, and recent allegations, the conflict involving Prince William, Prince Harry, and Queen Camilla's daughter, Laura Lopes, has garnered significant media attention. The role of the media in shaping public perception of this situation cannot be overstated, as tabloids and news outlets frequently amplify stories, sometimes blurring the distinction between fact and sensationalism. This coverage carries significant consequences for the royal family, influencing both public opinion and the way they manage their internal relationships. Reports on the alleged tensions between William and Harry, particularly concerning Laura Lopes, have varied greatly across different media platforms. Some outlets have presented the situation as a dramatic family rift, implying that William and Harry's interactions with Laura reflect deeper divisions within the monarchy. This narrative feeds into the long-standing public fascination with royal scandals as stories of conflict, rivalry, and intrigue continue to captivate audiences. However, the often sensationalized nature of these reports can distort reality, leading the public to form conclusions drawn from such reports are often based on incomplete or exaggerated information. For example, the widely circulated claim that William and Harry deliberately prevented Laura Lopes from attending a royal event has been framed by many outlets as a deliberate snub. This kind of reporting invites speculation about their motivations, with some suggesting that the brothers may still harbor resentment toward Camilla's daughter. Such narratives not only fuel public curiosity, but also contribute to the perception of dysfunction within the royal family, portraying them as characters in a modern-day soap opera. The impact of media coverage extends beyond just the headlines. It shapes public sentiment toward those involved. As audiences consume these stories, their perspectives are influenced by the narratives presented. Supporters of William and Harry might view their actions as an act of loyalty, defending their late mother's legacy. On the other hand, those sympathetic to Camilla and Laura may interpret their behavior as dismissive or even unkind. This polarization creates an environment where the royal family is constantly scrutinized, with each member viewed through the lens of conflict rather than unity. Additionally, the relentless examination of their relationships adds pressure, as every action is closely observed and interpreted by the public. This level of scrutiny can lead to heightened tensions and a reluctance to engage openly. This dynamic presents a particular challenge for King Charles III, who must navigate both public perception and internal family dynamics while striving to maintain unity amid ongoing speculation. The rise of social media has further transformed royal coverage, with platforms like Twitter and Instagram enabling the rapid spread of information. This immediacy often triggers swift public reactions, amplifying narratives and shaping opinions in real time. As discussions about William, Harry, and Laura gain traction online, they can quickly escalate into trending topics. This further complicates the royal family's efforts to maintain privacy and control over their own narrative. Impact on the royal family's image. The British royal family has long been a subject of intense public interest, with their lives scrutinized through the lenses of tradition, duty, and personal relationships. Recently, the reported tensions involving Prince William, Prince Harry, and Queen Camilla's daughter, Laura Lopes, have sparked significant media coverage and public debate, leading to notable implications for the monarchy's image. How these relationships are perceived can greatly influence the royal family's reputation and relevance in today's society. The allegations that William and Harry deliberately excluded Laura Lopes from royal events have reinforced a narrative of division within the family. When amplified by the media, such reports create an image of dysfunction and rivalry, suggesting that internal strife is undermining the monarchy. This portrayal challenges the long-standing perception of the royal family as rather than presenting a united front committed to service and tradition. The royal family risks being perceived as a modern-day soap opera, where personal conflicts overshadow their public responsibilities and charitable efforts. This shift in perception can have real consequences for the monarchy's standing in the eyes of the public. As the royal family works to maintain its relevance in an ever-changing world, any sign of internal discord can raise concerns about its stability and future. The public may begin to question whether the monarchy can effectively fulfill its role if it struggles to resolve personal conflicts. Such doubts could gradually weaken public trust and support, both of which are essential for the institution's survival. Furthermore, the ongoing scrutiny of William and Harry's relationship, particularly in relation to Laura Lopes, fuels a narrative centered on division. While the royal family has always faced challenges, the current era of intense media attention magnifies these tensions, leading to increased polarization among royal supporters and critics and supporters alike may view the situation through different lenses. Fans of William might see his actions as those of a protective older brother, while Harry's supporters could interpret the conflict as further evidence of the royal family's struggle to adapt to modern dynamics. This divide fosters the perception of a fractured monarchy, ultimately impacting its public image. As head of the monarchy, King Charles III carries significant responsibility for managing the family's reputation during this period of tension. His response to these allegations, as well as how he handles the relationships between his sons and Camilla's daughter, will be crucial in shaping public perception. If Charles is seen as ineffective in addressing these conflicts or allowing them to escalate, it could further damage the royal family's image. On the other hand, if he takes proactive steps toward reconciliation and encourages open communication, he may help cultivate a more positive image of unity and resilience. The royal family's public image is also closely linked to its approach. As modern audiences increasingly expect authenticity from public figures, the royal family must strike a balance between maintaining their traditional reserve and engaging with contemporary issues. Acknowledging the complexities of their relationships and the challenges they face can help counter negative narratives while fostering a greater sense of relatability with the public. By embracing their humanity, the royals have the opportunity to reshape the conversation around them, emphasizing their dedication to family values and national service. In today's media landscape, the significance of reliable sources cannot be overstated, particularly when it comes to high-profile figures like the British royal family. The recent allegations surrounding the tensions between Prince William, Prince Harry, and Queen Camilla's daughter, Laura Lopes, have led to intense media scrutiny and widespread public speculation. However, much of the coverage is often sensationalized or misrepresented, highlighting the need for accurate information. Understanding the complexities of royal relationships requires accurate and reliable information. Today's media landscape is saturated with content from reputable news sources to social media platforms where anyone can share their opinions and narratives. Unfortunately, this environment allows unverified claims and rumors to spread rapidly, making it difficult for the public to separate fact from fiction. In the case of the alleged tensions between William and Harry regarding Laura Lopes, various white tabloids and online platforms have shaped the story in ways that often exaggerate or distort the facts for dramatic effect. For example, reports claiming that William and Harry deliberately prevented Laura from attending royal events may lack proper context or verification. While certain incidents may have occurred, the motivations behind them are likely far more complex, shaped by personal histories and underlying family dynamics. Relying solely on sensational headlines can lead to misunderstandings. This sensationalism fosters a perception of family strife that may not accurately reflect reality. The consequences of such exaggeration extend beyond mere gossip, as it can deeply impact public perception of the royal family. If the narrative centers around conflict and division, it can distort the public's understanding of the relationships involved. Supporters of William might feel compelled to defend his actions, while those sympathetic to Harry and Laura could interpret the situation as indicative of systemic issues within the royal family. This divide creates a polarized view of the monarchy, undermining its stability and relevance in today's society. The role of reliable sources becomes even more critical when considering the potential consequences of misinformation. For a family that represents tradition and public service, any portrayal that suggests dysfunction or rivalry can significantly damage their reputation and erode public trust. The royal family depends on the goodwill of the public to sustain its position, and these narratives can have long-lasting effects on the royal family's image. Therefore, it is crucial for both the media and the public to rely on credible and verified information when discussing such issues. As the head of the monarchy, King Charles III has a vested interest in ensuring that the narrative about his family is based on facts. His response to the allegations and how he navigates the relationships between William, Harry, and Laura will be under intense scrutiny from both the public and the media. If he is seen as failing to address the situation or allowing misinformation to spread, it could worsen existing tensions and further damage the royal family's image.